Hello, welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kari. My tea's brewed and I'm ready to chat. Now, I thought long and hard about what today's topic was even going to be about. And in the process, I asked myself, what is the one thing that most women over 40 have in common? And the answer that came to me, perimenopause. And so today's topic is going to be, how do you know if you're truly in perimenopause? What I discovered in the process was there's like 100 different symptoms that could be associated with perimenopause. Really? 100? With that many ways for our bodies to misbehave? How are we supposed to ever make heads or tails of this entire menopause mania? Your body will give you subtle clues that your hormones are starting to shift, and those subtle clues will become overwhelmingly obvious as the process continues. Now, this joyful roller coaster ride can take anywhere from a few years up to a decade, with many of these symptoms appearing here and there throughout the years. Now, the question is, how can we be sure that all of this chaos is actually perimenopause related? So I will go through 12 of the most classic symptoms of perimenopause. And for those of you who want to know more, if you watch to the end, I will pull out my notebook and I will go through 40 more symptoms that can be associated with perimenopause. It is unbelievably overwhelming that hormonal changes can affect our bodies in such a drastic way. The first symptom is one of the most obvious ones, and that is monthly cycle changes. Now, these changes are subtle in the beginning, as I mentioned before, and most women will notice small changes, such as perhaps the cycles are slightly heavier or slightly lighter, or perhaps slightly shorter or slightly longer. Later in perimenopause, these symptoms become way more obvious. It is at this point that women will notice that they're skipping cycles, or for all of you unlucky ones, that you're getting 2, maybe 3 cycles in a month. Yeah, I know. Now, the closer you come to full menopause, usually the further and further apart your cycles become until eventually they no longer exist. Although there are some women who have continuous monthly cycles well into their 50s, while there are other women who just abruptly stop having cycles altogether, seemingly out of nowhere. Everyone is different and everyone is unique, so there are no hard and fast rules about how this process plays out. The second symptom is mood swings or anxiety. If you suddenly feel overwhelmingly irritable or depressed and tearful out of nowhere, this could be a sign that your hormones are shifting. Or if you suddenly have fear and dread and a feeling of being overwhelmingly tense for no apparent reason at all. If you have a feeling that you have 100-pound weight sitting on your chest and you feel as if you can't breathe and you feel scared and you feel overwhelmed, you're dizzy, your heart is racing, you're sweating, you just want to run, you're having adrenaline surges, this would be an all-out panic attack, and this can also be associated with changing hormones. Now, of course, if you are having full-out panic attacks, please see your doctor to rule out other things. But it is common in perimenopause, and all of that nonsense can be related to shifting hormones, unfortunately. Number 3, have you all of a sudden put on an extra 10 or 15 pounds, and it all seems to be centered right on the belly? And no matter what you do, you cannot seem to shift that weight? That could also be your body telling you that you are entering or in perimenopause. This is an extremely frustrating one for women, myself included. Now, I do believe it can be dealt with, although losing the extra pounds in midlife is not as quick and easy as it was in your 20s, unfortunately. The fourth symptom, heart palpitations. Now, this is a truly scary and concerning one for women, myself included. And I'm telling you, when these hit, it can truly feel like you're going to die. It's terrible. So for all of you women out there who are suffering from heart palpitations, let me be the first to tell you how sorry I am that you are going through this as well. And of course, it goes without saying, if you're suffering from heart palpitations and you haven't been to the doctor already, please go to the doctor, have other things ruled out. And once you know that it is not something serious, I'm here to tell you that yes, perimenopause can cause heart palpitations. Some women notice these palpitations as a sort of flip-flop in the chest. Other women will note an increase in pulse rate and a pounding of the chest. Some women describe it as if their heart stops and then suddenly starts again. And other women will say that they can feel missed beats or extra beats. No matter how you feel the heart palpitations, they're extremely scary and extremely frustrating. I would be very curious to hear from some of you women who are in postmenopause now and who did have the heart palpitations. Do you still have them, or did they ease in the end? If you could maybe let me know in the comments, I would really appreciate it. Perhaps I'm just looking for a little bit of hope that this horrible symptom does ease once we get to the other end of perimenopause. Number 5, extreme dryness of the skin. Have any of you noticed that you're now going through buckets and buckets of moisturizer because it seems as if any moisture you once had in your skin has now been sucked out of your skin and you feel like an alligator now and you are so extremely itchy that you are scratching yourself to bleed? Yep, this can also be a sign of changing hormones. Estrogen can cause extreme dryness of the skin and oh my gosh, the itchiness. Many women also notice at this point that they're having unexplained flares of skin conditions such as eczema. Buckets of fun, isn't it, ladies? Now, to go along with the whole dryness issue, number 6, dry eyes. This may not seem like a major issue, but believe me, if you suffer from dry eyes, you know what a major problem this truly is. Dry eyes can cause itching and burning and grittiness and pain in the eyes. It can cause changes in vision. It can cause an increase in eye infections. This is truly a major issue. If you suffer from dry eyes, make sure that you are being followed by an eye doctor. And let me tell you how sorry I truly am, because I am one of those people who rely on eye doctors and many, many, many drops to try and combat this horrible issue. The 7th symptom, hair loss, and those lovely hairs that sprout out where you don't want them. This is a very, very traumatic symptom for many, many women, myself included. I do have a video out where I speak about my own hair loss story. If that's something you're interested in, I will leave a link in the description and you can go and check that out. For all of you women out there who are suffering with hair loss, I'm truly sorry. I really, really feel for each and every one of you. And yes, this can be caused by shifting hormones. Most women suffer an overall thinning as well as a change in texture of the hair. It's drier, it's more brittle, it breaks and it damages much easier than it did in youth. There are solutions being sold out there. Some of you may find success with some of these solutions. Other women, such as myself, have yet to find a solution. Once again, for all of you suffering this particular symptom, I truly feel for each and every one of you, and I know exactly what you're going through. Number 8, forgetfulness. Man, this is an annoying one. Are you all of a sudden forgetting your appointments? Forgetting where you put your car keys? Forgetting where your glasses are when they're sitting right atop your head? Or forgetting what you're saying halfway through a sentence? If you're anything like me and you walk down the hallway to fetch something, and by the time you're halfway down the hallway, you can't remember what you're going to get, your hormones may be to blame, and this could very well be perimenopause. Number 9, body pain, joint pain, and muscle and tendon issues. This one actually took me by surprise. A couple of years ago, I suffered from a frozen shoulder. And then shortly after that, golfer's elbow kicked in. So in talking to my doctor and doing my own research, I realized that this could indeed be caused by perimenopause. And apparently a lot of women out there are suffering from these types of aches and pains. Quite surprising. Apparently, estrogen helps reduce inflammation and also plays a part in muscle function. So as estrogen declines, there is a chance that inflammation may increase, causing pain and discomfort. And there may also be a decrease in muscle function. So I guess that means in midlife, movement is extremely important to keep the body going. Although trying to move a frozen shoulder is easier said than done. Number 10, hot flashes. This is a lousy symptom, isn't it, ladies? It's also very common and very annoying. I do have a video on hot flashes, so for all of you who are interested in hearing more on the topic, I will leave a link in the description and you can check that video out. For all of you that suffer that horrible intense heat and the flushing that creeps across your face and neck, and the increase in heart rate, and the need to open every single window in the house just to try your best to be comfortable, man, I feel for you. And it's also a symptom of perimenopause. Number 11 is sleep disturbances. This is also a very annoying one. Do you have major issues trying to fall asleep? Or can you fall asleep, but you can't seem to stay asleep? Or are you one of those lucky ladies who wakes up multiple times a night in an absolute sweat and has to get up and change the sheets before you can go back to bed? These are all symptoms of perimenopause. How about bladder changes? This is a great one, isn't it? Are you all of a sudden running to the bathroom 25 times a day? Or do you all of a sudden constantly feel as if you have a UTI, even when you don't? Or are you one of those unlucky ones that experiences those constant drips every time you sneeze or laugh or cough? Yes, these can also be symptoms of perimenopause. Changes in estrogen can cause the tissue to thin and weaken and cause all of those lovely, wonderful symptoms that I just mentioned. Those were just 12 out of the possible 100 or more symptoms that are associated with the change. Now, if you're already feeling a little disheartened, but you know that you have many more symptoms that I have yet to mention, and you want to hear what other symptoms are associated with perimenopause, sit tight and prepare yourself, because I'm about to read out a list of 40 more symptoms. And for all of you who are still with me, I appreciate each and every one of you. Here we go. I have my trusty handy dandy notebook so that I do not get confused and repeat myself. Forgetfulness is definitely one of my issues. So, 40 more symptoms of perimenopause. Here we go. We have menstrual flooding, headaches, decreased motor coordination, lethargy and exhaustion, exacerbation of chronic illness, night sweats, gallbladder symptoms, hypoglycemic reactions, food cravings and increased appetite, dark circles under the eyes, increased tension in the muscles, acne, loss of breast tissue, breast soreness, cold extremities, and clumsiness. Man, am I clumsy. Loss of libido. Dizziness, that's another great one that I suffer. Ringing in the ears, bloating, bowel irregularities, tendency towards candidiasis, which would be yeast infections, indigestion, nausea, lack of appetite, changes in body odor, puffy eyes, arthritis flares, loss of bone density, changes in your fingernails. Do you have the cracking, splitting fingernails now all of a sudden? Yeah. Loss of muscle tone, aching teeth and bleeding gums. You don't know how many times I have been to the dentist complaining that my teeth are hurting and nothing is wrong with them. I guess that's just all part of the process of perimenopause. Change in tongue sensation? That's a weird one. Feeling faint. Strange electric shock sensations. Worsening allergies or new ones. Man, do I suffer with that one. And changes in cholesterol levels. This is just 40 more symptoms. There are at least 100, ladies. I've only just begun. I don't even think I could possibly cover all 100 in one video, but this gives you kind of an indication of all of the possible things that can go wrong. Wow, unbelievable. I never could have imagined that changing hormones could cause such chaos in the body. Perimenopause and menopause is not for the weak, I will tell you that. It is no wonder that women are such strong human beings. With such a long list of possible symptoms, it does prove difficult to try and ascertain whether or not you are actually in perimenopause. Now, you could have your hormones tested and see if you can tell on paper whether or not you are in perimenopause, but it is possible for your hormone levels to come back in the normal ranges and still be in perimenopause. So it's not always an indication. Even if you don't know 100% whether or not you are actually in perimenopause, perhaps knowing most of the symptoms can help ease your mind a little or alleviate any fear that something is drastically wrong with you. To all the midlife women out there, good luck. I hope you found some value in today's video, and always remember to live your best midlife. Until next time, bye for now.